Hello and welcome. Oh, wait. Wow. All right. All right. Just started streaming. The stream I started. Gonna talk about things. I think I yoinked is very very good tasting. I yoinked the cookies from the place I was cutting grass. Oh yeah. By the way, I'm going to cut grass, but like I'm cutting grass from this freaking place, and somehow I just can't. I can't get hold of the grass cutter for too long. My body hurts after a while, a bit, but it was pretty nice though. Thing about it is just very uncomfortable to wield or to use that thingy because the harness is just like what the hell is with this harness? Doesn't seem to be feeling like using the thing. The the harness is what's making it hard to use the grass cutter. It's hard to use the grass cutter is like, and then after a while, it's feel it in my body, feel it in my hips. Then later on, I can feel it like my entire like I let go of the freaking thing. Like I turned it off and let go of the grass cutter, and I can still feel my hands vibrating. It's somehow still vibrating to the freaking vibrations of the grass cutter, and it's somehow. Anyways, that's my grass cutting experience. I haven't completely cut the grass from the entire place. Gonna come back there Monday. Gonna come back stronger, harder, and we're gonna cut the grass for real, for real. Gonna cut it like real good. Gonna cut the grass real, real good. And yeah, anything else afterwards that? Yeah, I'm gonna talk about Iron Man 2. Iron Man 2. Gonna talk about Iron Man 2. Wait, let me talk. Where is my Google? I have the Google Docky. I have notes. Put it on the Google Docky so that I can like put it on. I get the Google Docky. I can put it on. Fine. First things first. The conversation when it comes to understanding. What? How is like Iron Man 2 rated, by the way? Iron Man 2. Is it properly rated? Do I rate it? I rate it as like a good 8. No, no, no. It's a good 8. It's a good 8. It's like a 7.8, 7.9 kind of thing. So it's kind of 8 already. No? It's 70. 6, 7 kind of like. Why is it 72? So what's what I think the villain is lacking. Mickey Rourke is like freaking lacking. He was so badass, man, when he came out in freaking Monaco. Yeah, it's still good though. Let's see. There's this Reddit thread. Like how people's thoughts on Iron Man 2 change at all. Many consider Iron Man 2 to be the worst MCU film, second to Thor, Dark World. For a while, I was one of those people and avoided watching it for a long time. One day I managed to watch it and found that it wasn't bad as people were making out to be. Do you guys still think that Iron Man 2 was a bad movie, or do you actually think it's good and the hate was blown out of proportion? Or are they neutral towards it? It was blown out of proportion, the hate towards it, and the way it was rated. I think it was like a good freaking 8, man. A good 7.8, 7.7, 7.7, 7.7, 7.8, something like that. The Monaco race, yes, the Monaco race thing was fucking amazing, bro. He was so badass in it. The house party scene was a bit too much. Yep. The third act is just weak. I think the final confrontation between Whiplash and Iron Man was just sub 3 minutes long. Yeah, it's a higher stakes villain. The villain is a problem. Thought so, man. When it comes to freaking Marvel, they have like villain freaking problems because it's just somehow. That's probably why I got attracted to Marvel, anyways. When I was watching it, it doesn't seem like because like when I was a kid, when I was growing up, watching freaking movies, I always deter myself when it comes to like freaking the villain moment. When it comes to villain moments, or when it comes to like our heroes being like having struggles or like struggling with fighting the villain, that's when I'm like, ah, fuck, I'm gonna skip this part, and I'm like, skip this part and keep watching when the villain rises above it. And I don't really watch those freaking things, and it just deters me from watching the entire freaking thing. And that's why Marvel got me towards it because of this thing, like the villain isn't too much of a threat. Right? When it comes to Marvel, villains aren't too much of a threat. That's a freaking problem when it comes to it. There's like the conflict isn't that much of like a conflict, so why even bother? Because we love drama, we love like crazy ass freaking conflicts like that, right? Yeah. Actor did his best, but the villain himself was absolutely unthreatening. At no point did I had the chance to hell of beating Iron Man. At no point did I think he had any chance in hell in beating Iron Man with that wacky get up. Man, this Reddit thread is insane, man. This Reddit thread with Mecha Porcupine and Chazurn 3. Their conversation about like, so why not just kill Iron Man when it comes to the Monaco freaking scene? Now why not just humiliate? But the main goal was to humiliate him, right? Yeah, because there's not much of a threat coming from the Ivan Banco, and he was such a badass though. But it's just not much a threat coming from him. And then here it goes, like, oh, the goal of the freaking villain was to humiliate him, but to show that he can bleed. He can barely even like he knows he's like outmatched when it comes to like fighting Iron Man. So that's why humiliation is the thing about him. It's just to show the freaking world that he's just a man and not a god. And yes, he wanted to kill, but he wasn't able to. Ironmonger made him bleed. Franco only gave Tony a scratch. And Sam Rockwell is very, very, very good. Okay, here's the thing that I agree about when it comes to the Reddit thread. When it comes to Reddit thread, I agree when it comes to Ivan Vanko, just trying to humiliate him, but still not threatening. That final fight scene was fucking, what the fuck was that? That was dog shit. Okay, he had the resources to build. Okay, here's the thing. Okay, in the Monaco scene, making him bleed, showing the world that he is not a god, does make sense. But later on in the freaking movie, when he was able to have his resources to be able to build a better and much more stronger version of of his weapon, like what? It was just like he got one bow combo and that's it. Like one bow combo and that's it. Like what? Okay, that was the thing, yeah. I I do agree, but like yeah, that was like the shortest freaking final boss fight, the shortest final boss fight ever in Marvel history, man. Like, well, it's shorter than freaking Dormammu. Dormammu was much better. Like the wombo combo with Rhodey was like, what the hell is that? And then it was first initialized because of their fight scene when it comes to the party in the freaking house. The party in the fucking house. You know what? I find it freaking funny, but it's way too over ridiculous. It's not up to taste when it comes to people. It's very distasteful when it comes to people in wanting to show like cinema. I know the taste of freaking people, and that seems like very very raunchy and very very college humor ish. Very very frat dude like kind of like messing things up. But it is kind of like the message was there, right? He was turning into like kind of like a frat guy. Frat guy parties when it comes to those freaking things. Very very very, what do you call this? Uh, mm, what is the word? Wait, I need to find the word. I'm struggling finding a word. It's the thing where you have disregard when it comes to freaking safety. Reckless, very reckless behavior, and very very drunken and reckless behavior were coming from Tony Stark, blowing things up, blowing freaking glass in front of people in that freaking distance. Like a lot of people's eyes would have been freaking bleeding already from the glass. Like it's just being thrown out. Like after him trying popping bottles of champagne, like blowing up bottles of champagne. Like that party should have been like went dark well already from the times he was like popping bottles of champagne. Okay. By the time he was popping bottles of champagne, that is already a freaking dark freaking thing. Because it's just in reality when you blow things up like that in close proximity when it comes to people, that glass is gonna be shrapnel. That glass is shrapnel throwing into freaking spaces. Like it's coming from above too, so it's definitely going at people's faces, you know? Anyways. Yes, the party was freaking distasteful. It wasn't like it wasn't up to taste when it comes to a lot of people because it is like that. Don't people don't like those kinds of shit, and me too. I've grown out of it. And the ones I've seen it, I'm kind of cringing a little bit when it comes to what's going on in that freaking party. But it was a setup for the Wamba combo. When it comes to Rhodey and Iron Man's Wamba combo, like, to find those freaking things is just really really hard. And then he got scolded later on like a freaking child by Nick Fury. So he just came in. So he just came in and took it. That was Rhodey just came in and took the Iron Man suit. Well, in part, you could just in defense of freaking Tony Stark, he was freaking dying, so probably let down a lot of his guard, right? probably allowed, really allowed Rhodey to be able to like take the freaking suit because he was like, oh, I'm dying anyways. Might as well give it to Rhodey. But just like in the last evaluation, when it comes to whatever it is that Romanov's evaluation of Tony Stark for the Avengers Initiative, like he is the only one who has that kind of like Avengers Initiative. That he is the only one who had a freaking sit down with Nick Fury. He is the only one who has to sit down with Nick Fury when it comes to being him, uh, understanding or like learning his evaluation when it comes to like being an Avengers. Like so far, that is what I like understood and learned of. Anyways, that was Mr. Tony Stark in Iron Man 2. Rhodey was nice. Like oh, it was fucking funny. The ex-wife was fucking funny, man. Ex-wife joke, fucking funny. The suit in IR1, and yet when it comes to Shield's eyes, the suit in him is not one. Yes, like Iron Man and like Tony Stark are different, two different freaking people, and that is just crazy. What the fuck? Exalted. Oh my goodness, there's an Exalted Viego's. Then he has a freaking trailer too, bro. That's a freaking cinematic. Oh my goodness. Anyways, that is Viego. Right. Where's my notes? Where's my notes? Oh, that was it. The palladium poisoning and him using chlorophyll to be able to like get rid of palladium. When did he have the surgery? Probably Iron Man 3. Finally like accepted and got the surgery. Probably Iron Man 3. Okay. Not everybody runs on batteries. Again, Pepper teaching Tony Tower Heart. I like that freaking scene. Making suggestions. This was like a flaw on like Tony Stark's freaking ego. He was like teaching. Well, he was teaching Ivan Vanko how to be how to have, like how to better his freaking weapons. But clearly, he was probably really sure that he was being arrested and like going to jail, right? Like under either being killed or anything else, something like that. Yeah, he got out of freaking prison and Justin Hammer in the very fucking funny. They were the drones. The fighting the drones was a much better like fight. The third act was kind of meh because of they hated. This is like a good flaw when it comes to Marvel movies. Their third act is always the freaking problem. It's always the freaking boring part, and it's always like the confrontation is just not as good because there is no drama being set up in the freaking first two parts. There wasn't enough conflict to rise up to the occasion on the third freaking part. Be able to conclude the freaking story, like really create a climactic freaking fight, right? Create a climax. Wasn't there. It's just hard to write villains. I guess it's hard to write villains like that. I guess it's just hard to write villains. Very dramatic villains to very good villains towards our heroes, especially when you want the movie to shine on the freaking heroes, right? You want the freaking attention on the heroes and how the heroes do it. Because if you do create a proper freaking villain, you'd have sympathy for the freaking villain, and that's the problem when it comes to these freaking movies. Probably they don't want sympathy to the freaking villains. They want the villains to be dehumanized. They want the villains to be uh they want the villains to not be a problem, not that much of a problem, right? Because we want the heroes to rise into the occasion. We don't want the viewers to be questioning if the heroes did the right thing, of they ever were like freaking heroes, because that's the freaking entire point of the freaking movie. The heroes are heroes, and they are these freaking uh like paragon. There are these freaking visions of like freaking humanity and be able to be like that. To write a villain contrasting those freaking things, you need to doubt their hero aspect. You need to be able the villain must be there to be able to like make you doubt about their heroishness, even if it's just for a moment, if it's just for like 5 minutes. Right? But that is just the struggle when it comes to writing these freaking villains, because they were like, why is it like this? Probably they're being questioned, why are you making, why are you trying to overpower the villain? Probably that's the freaking question, or like the question will be probably brought up to these writers when they do that, is that why why are you making it the villain a lot stronger where the hero can easily topple the freaking villain? Why make this? But it's just a matter of freaking drama, because it's just been the flaw when it comes over and over again when it comes to these freaking movies that we've been making. Like, why can't they just like understand and like say it to themselves that it's just a flaw when it comes to making movies ourselves like this, because we're not taking the freaking risk of pushing the freaking button of pushing it freaking forward and like really pressing on the freaking pedal. Because probably it's a much more mass appealing taste, because people who like want those kinds of villains, who want those kinds of like things, are just the critics, and the critics are just a minor population of people who are like actually going into the movies. If you go into the movies and have a great fucking time and not freaking doubting, I'd rather like, yeah, there are like freaking other things when it comes to like thinking, when it comes to these freaking things. You might be thinking it has to be a freaking fun time for the moviegoer to be able to watch there, go in there, watch the freaking movie. It's as much as possible. It's all freaking fun. There's no freaking doubt. There's no freaking way of thinking. All you need is like freaking fun and enjoying the freaking ride, and that's just what it is. But you cannot have like a. It's much more fun if there's a little bit of risk, if there's a little bit of doubt, if there's a little bit of like, there's a little bit of like thinking from the viewer's perspective of like, oh my god, maybe the hero is not the hero at all, or maybe the hero cannot probably rise to this occasion, something like that, right? Maybe it's much more fun if there's a little bit of anxiety. Maybe it's much more fun if there's a little bit of nervousness from the freaking viewer. Because if it's just a ride of all good, like ooh, and there's nothing, no thrill, there's no thrill to the freaking ride. Maybe it's not a good movie at all. But it is a good movie because it's very, they know what appeals to the freaking masses, right? They know what appeals to. They know what buys ticket. They know what like they know what like people really actually want, and they were just like, probably it is like that, or probably not. But for me as a viewer, I would like to have a little bit of a thrill. I I've watched too many movies already to understand that probably those kinds of movies aren't, no, you know. I'd like to like doubt it too. Those are the freaking things about it. Yes, because it's like one of those experiences that I have where I actually doubt the hero rising to occasion is the death of Optimus Prime in Avengers Rise of the I have a Transformers Rise of the Fallen. Okay, I'm gonna talk about Transformers Rise of the Fallen for a little bit, because it's one of those movies that I actually, one of those first movies that I actually watched in the theater, and it is one of my first time experiencing the fallout of a freaking hero, and I freaking loved it. Even though a lot of people hated the entire freaking thing because there's this freaking ball sack freaking joke about it, and John Turturro like degrading himself into whatever whatever that character is. Oh my freaking god. If there's gonna be a next Transformers movie, is John Turturro gonna be back as the same freaking character? I will love it though. He's one of the favorite characters in the freaking movies. Growing up, he's one of my favorite characters. Shit. Uh, yeah, that kind of humor, probably not gonna be able to see it soon. It's a 72. Yeah, it's a 72 freaking rated movie. It's probably like a 7.7, probably. Like, it's a point 0.5 points down. In all honesty, it's one of those movies also who was like, to complement the freaking Iron Man 2 movie, it's one of those movies who were like handled multiple plot points pretty okay. It handled multiple plot points pretty okay with the understanding of the conflict of, is it really Iron Man, or is the Iron Man and Tony Stark the same freaking person, right? That's the freaking conflict when it comes to the government, like stating who he is, right? That's a freaking conflict when it comes to it. But he was like, probably they are not. They are the end of the freaking movie. Apparently, Iron Man and Tony Stark are the same freaking person, because they do act differently when he's on the suit, when he's not on the suit. Oh. So they like treating him as like a consultant so far. Uh, any other plot points when it comes to that, like Pepper Potts plot point? The thing about her, like somehow he told her to CEO. All of these freaking decisions, all of these freaking subplots are like a cause or a symptom or like an effect of his like he's of the main plot of he is dying. Right? He is dying. He's trying to find a way when it comes to this freaking poisoning. So yeah, yeah. When it comes to that, he seems feels like he's dying. Anything else? Any more yapping session? Oh my god, I forgot to like create a new PNG, because with Nano Banana Pro and all those freaking things, probably will like a different. I don't know. I don't know what kind of like I don't know what kind of thing we able to do with our thingy. Yeah, AI has like created a batch more better now. So uh, okay. In conclusion, Iron Man 2, 7.7 for me. Yep, a good 7.7 for me. Just the third act was indeed kind of anti. It's like that Monaco scene was fucking amazing. Was really badass. Yeah, the Monaco scene was so freaking badass. It carried the entire freaking. That Monaco, and the Monaco scene, Monaco sequence, the Monaco sequence, the prison escape. Those were all pretty badass. I don't know why they brought in Rhodey. arming War Machine was kind of funny. I guess those kinds of fights, even if it was enjoyable for me, the fights were enjoyable, but not that much. You know, it wasn't like holy freaking shit, it was amazing. But it was a good freaking scenes. It was a good freaking fight scenes. Um. Oh yeah, the introduction, the first appearance of Black Widow. Thoughts? Like nobody's talking about how good it is. Like Black Widow's introduction. Black Widow being introduced to the freaking entire thing. That was fun. Like Coulson and Black Widow, that was fun. Like during this freaking time, Agents of Shield was a thing, and I think people should like not should reconsider like watching Agents of Shield, even though Agents of Shield wasn't the thingy, the the Marvel TV show that we should also be freaking watching. You know? Yeah, Agents of Shield was something, but it did not pop up. Wonder why. Also, have Sharon Carter. I did not watch Agents of Shield, but I watched with the Netflix Marvel series on Netflix. Those are the things that I watch. I watched Daredevil. I watched Luke Cage. I watched what's it? What's the chick again? Uh, yeah, the chick that was like very strong. Like, Jessica Jones. Jessica Jones, the Defender's Punisher. Those are like really good at swinging. Like it showed like a darker side of freaking Marvel that you don't want to see. Like that somehow scratched the itch. Wanting darker. Yeah, somehow it satisfied my cravings toward darker Marvel things, and I'll be like, oh, it was like. But they were taking a risk when it comes to like darker things. I came out of the movie theater when it comes to Winter Soldier, like shaking. I felt very freaking cold. Yes, yes. Speaking of the cold thing that I remember feeling, it was Captain America Winter Soldier. I came out of that freaking movie feeling a little bit cold, feeling a certain kind of coldness, feeling a certain kind of like cold coming out of that freaking thing. Because it was really good. Anyways, back to the doc. Yeah, he's become a total freaking asshole, especially at the party scene. Like the way they set up the Monaco freaking scene of him just driving it. When it comes to Iron Man 2, one criticism I do have is like, what the fuck happened to Tony there? Did he even change? Well, it started to change when it comes to him treating Pepper. Like somehow Pepper is his freaking anchor as to how he changes, how he treats other people. Kind of weird that it's like that. Yeah, like the character development when it comes to Tony Stark from the beginning up to the end, it's kind of weird, huh? We don't see that much conflict when it comes to this character development. It is still the same old Tony freaking Stark, especially when it comes to his relationship with his father. That doesn't seem to show much when it comes to freaking legacy. Actually, now it's a matter of the conflict there wasn't with Tony Stark. It's a matter of the conflict there is the legacy of the Starks. Like, is it really built on freaking blood? Right? Are the Starks really that awful freaking kind of people? But as the movie goes on, like Howard Stark built Shield, founded Shield, one of the founders of Shield, and all those freaking. Yeah, so that was Iron Man. Yeah, there were so many things going on at once. But for me, they somehow got this all pretty okay. Not to like abysmal freaking thing, like some things, like sometimes when it comes to having multiple plot points, some things like some plot points get abandoned and shit. But this one is it they concluded it and then resolved it in certain kind of ways. So it was nice. It was nice to resolve these multiple plot points, but some of those freaking at the cost of resolving other freaking plot points of the movie, it cost them the big fight at the end. Right? It was like a very quick as big fight. Evan Blanco, and that clearly showed, and people hated it. That's really good. Anything else? When it comes to Iron Man 2? Talking about Iron Man 2 for 39 freaking minutes. So I'm like thinking about. Okay, I'm gonna go to the notes. It does try to become so many things at once, right? The Stark legacy. What else? Palladium poisoning. The relationship with Pepper. Relationship with Brody. Iron Man as Iron Man and Tony Stark being one. Huh. Thing about it is until like we really get to see uh Iron Man or Tony Stark's ego, right? Because he has the resources to be able to gather a bunch of freaking surgeons. He's like a freaking billionaire. So he has the resources to gather a bunch of surgeons to really just get rid of the shrapnel in his freaking chest. To have like an operation to get rid of his shrapnel from his chest. But all he does is still be able to just put on freaking. He would rather poison himself than to find a surgeon to that. And Strange is we don't have Strange anyways. That would have been a great introduction for freaking Stephen Strange, right? Like a cameo for Stephen Strange. He went and finds surgeon to be able to handle his heart. That would be Stephen. But like, oh, he doesn't want to risk it. He'd rather die of freaking poisoning. After that, he found the freaking element. Found the freaking element to really be stable with it. But yeah, what did he name it? Did he name it? What is the element did he name? I think it wasn't like named, right? Wait, let me like Google it. Badassium. It's called Badassium. It's often called Badassium in supplementary comics, but it's essentially a safe, stable substitute material based on his father's features, allowing for a smaller, more powerful reactor. Badassium. uh, and the Badassium. Called Badassium. Where do you get it? That's it's kind of be hard to be a completionist watching them because you gotta watch freaking comics, every freaking references when it comes to comics, and all those. And I understand now the pressures of the making it because you got you have all these freaking things like pressured towards you to be able to make something while everybody wants it to be still connected to grander, which is the harder freaking part because you wanted something to make something and gonna have to be very what's it called very collaborative. Okay, not not convenient. Badass. Let's try and defend Iron Man. Iron Man 2. All from common. Iron Man 2. It's world building plot. Significantly, screen time is dedicated to Shield, Nick, Black Widow, Horned, Arc. Damn. Fuck. How do I defend that? Like for me too, when it comes to like, I was having a problem with like a Tony Stark's personal freaking arc when it comes to this freaking movie, and no, it's not freaking shoehorned because it's all about legacy, and Shield is Howard Stark legacy, showing Shield is like Shield, Nick Fury, Black Widow are elements of Howard Stark's legacy and the actual legacy when it comes to the Starks showing up to Tony and fighting, and like it's a counter movement towards the movement that Ivan Vanko is like trying to show towards the world, right? Because Tony Stark is being shown all these freaking things in his personal freaking things. He is like showing this bad freaking legacy that Howard Stark has, right? The legacy that Howard that Tony is just freaking drunkard that all they ever do was make freaking weapons. The legacy that they are freaking bad people overall. And Shield is not just a setup. Shield doesn't like show that it is set up for like isn't just forced in there to show that it is just a setup for. It's actually Howard Stark's good legacy coming in to save Tony from the bad legacy that it is. Okay, next one. Where the is it? I want to. My next pacing issue. The narrative frequently grinds to a halt. Avengers lore making the middle of the film feel slow and disjointed. What do you mean Avengers freaking lore? What is the Avengers lore in there in the middle? Like Black Widow, I guess the setup for freaking Black Widow and the evaluation for freaking Stark when it team that credits Iron Man 1, right? Iron Man 1, there's this post credit scene of Nick Fury trying to assemble like that. Oh, unwind as what is underdeveloped villains. Yes, I cannot defend that. It's very, very underdeveloped. Tom Markel as acting more as a comic relief than a credible threat. Yep, just Justin Howard, supposed contrast. But like Ivan Vanko, he's such a freaking badass. He looks so freaking badass in camera too. Like he looks so freaking badass and threatening, but somehow the plot makes him less freaking threatening. It's somehow like it's like the develop. I agree. Toned down demon in a bottle. They really like the demon in the bottle story arc when it comes to like Tony Stark, because Tony Stark wasn't indeed an alcoholic. He has those freaking problems. Yes. The film touches on Tony's self-destructive behavior, the drunk party scene. Critics felt the movie backed away from exploration of addiction, family friendly, and protecting toy sales. Off fucking off freaking. Like somehow critics only care about how good of a movie, which is why they are called film freaking critics, right? The film being criticized for being a film, but we know that Iron Man 2 is not just a film, it's an ad. It's also an ad and a film at the same time to sell toys and sell freaking merchandise. Yeah, it's like it's not just a film. It cannot be treated just as a film. And the criticism when it comes to this is it's not just a film because it is not just a film because it's trying to be more than just a film. It's uh some of those things get toned down. Rush, skip, and messy logic. Okay, scientific that's yep. When it discovers the thing from it comes to yeah, but the good legacy thread, the good legacy shield being Howard Stark's good legacy, like going into save. Yeah, it kind of looks just like oh, I'm in such a freaking pickle. I don't know how to heal myself from the palladium. Then with and then Nick Fury appears somehow with the freaking cure. Conveniently appears with somehow an idea to find himself a cure. Yep, agreed. Felt like a 2 hour trailer for the Avengers. Overstuffed. Hypersexualization, VFX consistency, practical digital. Woo! We get criticized for its bad CGI. We all know Marvel has bad CGI. Feels like the CGI when it comes to Marvel is like rush and not really like when will it be good? Because I don't know. Endgame when it was good. Toned down demon in a bottle. Rush script, messy logic. Criticism. Visual felt one dimensional, overstuffed with shield, tone, uneven balance between dark poisoning comedy. Uneven balance between dark poisoning stakes and silly comedy? What? Much more silly comedy then? Yeah, it's trying to be more silly freaking action sequence fewer and less reward. Yep, the actions. Yep, yep. Like somehow when you want to make a sequel, you want to make bigger, better, and faster, stronger than the first movie. But it's just very, very hard when you're really perfect. You're just trying to replicate the same formula, the first movie, second movie, with different things, and it's kind of hard to make. Yeah, that's gonna be the entire Iron Man trilogy. It's gonna. That's why it's never gonna be. It's a good seven because it can still get a hold of the freaking plot, even felt like entire okay. Understanding taste. This the taste of freaking critics. And it's very, very hard to be Flash Man one dimension is it does feel like one dimension. Some bad guy who does say less. Nothing but it was like the you lose kind of lose it doesn't impact me. It's much more impactful what she was supposed which is in confrontation conversation arc and later on after mostly that and understand that you lose again. But it's like there's so many things that happen between that freaking point to the final freaking saying you lose again. Which so many things happened. The bird freaking thing. Justin Hammer taking over him. Entire party. Party. The plot when it came out as yeah. Can't understand that that more. Dialogue fatigue. It says here dialogue fatigue. Critics felt the sequel overdid the mumbling fast paced, some emotion standard. Fast paced humor banter, mumbling fast paced banter. Mumbling fast paced banter. What the hell is that? Can you show me an example? Oh yeah, it doesn't feel. Oh, I get it. I'm not saying it. Just saying the fact that I'm saying it doesn't mean pivot. It's a legacy move. The most capable. Only you're not evolving, you're panicking. The company don't want to do like the jump. Flash it, flash and whips. Whips, very old school. Pass the whips. Lasers. They're like lasers. Wait, what the fuck? Where is this dialogue? I don't know. I don't remember this dialogue. What the fuck? Hey, what Iron Man 2 did you watch? Dude, what Iron Man 2 movie did you watch? Wait, I don't remember this. Walking through his workshop. They're having two separate. Wait, what the fuck is this? Conversation when it comes to Pepper and after the Monaco. This was after the Monaco. They weren't in like the workshop after the Monaco. They were like on a plane talking about going to Venice instead. They were just talking about going to Venice instead. Audience in theaters, something they could. Yep, that's the problem. I watched it with subtitles. That's why I understood whatever it is talking about. Probably without subtitles, that is fucked up. Yeah, so I should watch things without subtitles. Yeah, it's kind of hard, especially when I watch Deadpool and Wolverine. The you know how long I've been waiting for this one. That freaking part, I understood jack shit, man, because the accent was so freaking thick. I couldn't understand whatever it is that he's talking about. But I am happy to see Channing Tatum like took on Gambit and like took on the Gambit accent. That good. The mumble key. Yeah, no, yeah. Of course. The only often stops me said this dialogue. Realistic but also ignoring the other person. One person will ask a serious question and the other will respond. Tiny I don't think I don't think these are criticisms to Iron Man 2. I don't think these are criticisms to Iron Man 2. Tone down demons about what? Uh, okay. Saying it. The fact that I'm saying it doesn't impress him. I'm not dying, I'm just evolving. Like when did when is when is let me see. What the fuck, man? Gemini is like making shit up, man. I think Gemini is making shit up. The Robert Downey Jr. factor. Okay, fine. Audio clarity. Mumble key features. Yeah, no, yeah. Characters constantly stating yeah, exactly. Only often starts with like a word just use dialogue feel like and also what movie did you, what Iron Man 2 did people watch, right? Like what the fuck? What Iron Man 2 did they watch? Ah, fuck this. Alright, anyways. I gotta go watch Thor now. It's been an hour. I think an hour of like diving into things. Trying to like really squeeze whatever knowledge I have when it comes to Iron Man 2. And the performances were good. Performances were really good, man. Like, should I like criticize performances as to how they act and how they act based on like the way they're pretty okay. It's fairly decent, but I wasn't moved enough, you know? Like some I would give something a solid freaking 8 when I meet things that makes me that moves me. Like that really moves me. I would give them a 9 if it really really moves, right? But those things seems kind of biased because thing is things that move me is affected by so many freaking things. It's deserving of a 9, you know. It's a good freaking 7. I said it was a 7, 7.7. It was kind of nice. The plane scene was kind of okay. The plane scene, you can clearly see that he has like a humanity in him left, right? Something somewhere of like saying, let's just get away from this. All those freaking yeah, it's kind of selfish for him to be able to do that, but it clearly shows that he has something for Pepper, right? That he loves Pepper. Uh, yeah. That was when Pepper angled. The scenes with freaking Pepper really shows his freaking humanity. It shows us that he's not just an egomaniac narcissistic person. That he doesn't just think about himself, so he also cares about somebody else. So he does care genuinely towards another person. That was with scenes with Pepper. Yes, it starts with one person because being a hero, because we understand already that he's not that kind of hero, right? He's not the hero, not the boy scout he wanted. He's just a very flawed freaking thing. His alcoholism probably would have been a very good thing to be able to tackle, but we don't know how to tackle freaking alcoholism very freaking well. Because to tackle alcoholism very freaking, I don't freaking stop the game of playing of alcoholic. For like everybody in around him to just not play alcoholic. It's just a very heavy kind of thing to do, and probably the writers probably how to tackle alcoholism. Like, going down the stadiums, more complex palladium poisoning rather than alcoholism. Alcoholism is much more heavier thing to be able to tackle the source material because he was alcoholic when it comes to the freaking comic, and I don't know how the comics solved it. How did the comics resolve that freaking thing? Because substitution one thing for another is kind of like hard. And wait, I have like something when it comes to alcoholism, and it is the game of alcoholic. When it comes to the games play, the games people play, there's like a game there. It's called alcoholic. There's a game there called alcoholic. It's probably what alcoholics do because they are like. Let me just read the antithesis to the game. Antithesis is particularly difficult because the heavy drinker is highly regarded in most Western countries as a desirable object for censure, concern, or generosity, and someone who refuses to play any of these without public appreciation. A rational approach may be even more alarming to the rescuer to the alcoholic, sometimes with unfortunate consequences to the therapy. One clinical out situation, a group of workers were seriously interested in the game Alcoholic were like breaking up the game rather than rescuing patients. Soon as this parent, they were chosen out committee back in the never again called on to assist. Fuck. Never got a true anti-test. Uh, the very as kind of game. When it comes to game analysis and beating the game alcoholic is ah, going. Antithesis. As is well known, alcoholic is usually played hard and is difficult to give up. In one case, a female alcoholic in a therapy group participated very little until she thought she knew enough about other members to go ahead with her game. She then asked them to tell her what they thought of her. Since she had behaved pleasantly enough, various members said nice things about her, but she protested. That's not what I want. I want to know what you really think. She made it clear that she was seeking derogatory comments. The other woman refused to prosecute her, whereupon she went home and told her husband that if she took another drink, he must either divorce her or send her to a hospital. She promised to do this. That evening, she became intoxicated and sent her to a sanitarium. Here, the other members refused to play the prosecutory roles quite assigned to them. She was unable to tolerate this unethical behavior in spite of everyone's effort had already played. At home, she found someone who was willing to play the role she demanded. In other cases, however, it appears possible to prepare the patients as sufficiently so that the game can be given up. To attempt a true social cure in which the therapist declines to play either the prosecutor or rescuer. It's equally untherapeutic for him to play the role of patsy by allowing the patient to forego his financial and punctuality obligations. The correct therapeutic procedure from a transactional point of view is after careful preliminary groundwork. Take an adult contractual position and refuse to play any of the roles, hoping that the patient will be able to tolerate not only abstinence from drinking, but also from playing his game. If he cannot, he is best referred to as a rescuer. See, that is like one of those hardest. It's a very hard thing to digest when it comes because you need to know the roles of the game of alcoholic. There's a rescuer, the patsy, prosecutor. The prosecutor, it's like a freaking cycle that these people go. You get prosecuted and then you go to the patsy. You get prosecuted and then you go to the patsy that enables you to be able to again. Then later on, the rescuer comes to be able to play. And it's like that prevents you, tries to save you from this alcoholism thing, but you're not being actually being saved because eventually you go back to your like somehow it is like that. You'll go to the patsy again. Like somehow to be able to like stop alcoholism is to be able to stop these roles, to be able to have an environment where people refuse to play those freaking. That's how you. That somehow when it comes to game analysis, that's how you get rid of alcoholism. And the main goal of solving alcoholism is not to completely get rid of the alcoholics, of him completely getting rid of the habit of alcoholism, but to have someone who can socially ground himself to be who can socially who is acceptable who is like to state someone as an acceptable social drinker, to be able to discipline himself, to be able to like have a few drinks, to be able to like socialize in drinking, but not to get too freaking drunk. And that's the main goal of like solving alcoholism. And it's kind of crazy insane that it's like that. And it's one of those crazy ass freaking games that people play. It's the alcoholic. Thing about the alcoholic is like, huh? It's just a lot of people just refusing to. It goes the same with addiction because it's just a cycle of freaking cycle of these roles. And it's just one of those craziest freaking. Oh, I'm starting to have a headache now, so I'm gonna go take a break, rest. Talking about a lot of shit. It's just like a hard freaking thing and a hard freaking concept to be able to be able to say in just 2 hours, 2 hours and 30 minutes maximum. Be able to tackle alcoholism in 2 hours and 30 minutes is kind of like a hard freaking thing to be able to do. And I'd rather go with palladium poisoning too. I'd rather I'd rather say state a freaking story about palladium poisoning than tackle alcoholism in itself in 2 hours and 30 minutes, which is gonna be much more heavily criticized about the methods I solve uh alcoholism in 2 hours and 30 minutes. Come on, man. Like they want to have a darker freaking thing, but you don't understand how it is. Rather, how filmmakers started make it as a somehow positive note at the end of the freaking movie. Somehow have the positive freaking message when it comes to like making these freaking kinds of movies, because that's eventually what these movies are like aimed to do, to make at the end of the freaking day, to share, to end and show a positive freaking message. And to be able to have like a positive freaking message is hard. It's very hard to tackle these heavy heavy subjects. It's probably, yeah, skill issue. Probably for me too, it's kind of like a skill issue for me to be able to like not be able to tackle alcoholism in 2 hours and 30 minutes, because that's gonna be just the main freaking plot when it comes to Iron Man 2, if that's just alcoholism in itself. And it's gonna be very, very boring. It's gonna be very dark. You wanted to gonna go. It's gonna be dark and gritty and all those freaking things, and it's just like not the fun and uh, not the fun and mass appealing kind of like Marvel that we know. So yeah, that's what Marvel wants itself to be seen, and that's the criticism when it comes to it, which is darker freaking tones or darker freaking. They were like it did tackle darker freaking tones and heavier freaking comes later on when it comes much later on, and they were successful when it comes to those freaking things, and they were. Uh, but after Endgame, they were, and they did it. They take on these criticisms and were able to like build a much different kind of Marvel movie. Right? Yeah, but later on, it this where the fuck did it go? Understanding Phase 4 is such. To me. That is so freaking. Anyways, probably, yeah. Gemini and I watched two different freaking. Because where the hell is that warehouse scene in the that workshop scene? When the fuck did that happen? Yeah, when the fuck did that happen? Anyways, uh, oh, okay. That's about it, I guess. Yeah, that's Iron Man 2. So far, that's the only thing I watched last night after the stream. So I'm probably gonna watch Thor today, and let's try and watch Stranger Things again, man. I'm just fucking, man. I Dude, watching Stranger Things is like a struggle for. I don't know. Watch Stranger. It's just not hitting me as it used to. Yes, it's not hitting me as it used to. I don't know if I should continue or should continue watching it. Everything. Yeah, that was Stranger Things. That was Iron Man 2. Stranger Things. No, what was Stranger Things? I don't want to talk about Stranger Things. Okay. Okay. 1 hour. I've talked about Iron Man 2 for 1 hour. that's that's gotta be something. Anyways, yeah, prepping for Thor. Oh yeah. Okay, gotta be prepping for Thor. What other things am I supposed to like watch out for Thor? I don't remember much when it comes to like the Thor, this Thor, the first Thor movie. All I know, he was just cast away. You know what? I hated it when I was a kid. I probably gonna like it now because there is actually good freaking conflict as to there's actually risk and conflict as to the character Thor. Yeah, I hated it when I was a kid. I'm probably gonna love it now. Now that I'm an adult. I hated it when I was a kid because I was looking for escapism. I was when I was a kid, I was looking for my heroes to always freaking win, to never have any troubles when it comes to like their freaking conflicts. And it feels like in this freaking movie, Thor really struggled, and I kind of like it, and I kind of like it now. Now that I'm an adult, I kind of want to see it now. And yeah, this was the Shakespearean freaking Thor, and they're trying to speak like Shakespearean kind of way, and yeah, they were like speaking those kinds of way, and then they completely changed when it comes to Ragnarok, which everybody loved anyway. Nah, I'm just gonna say everybody loved Thor Ragnarok, man. Uh, Thor, Thor: The Dark World, dude. I love Thor: The Dark World, especially when like Logan said like, "Don't trust me, trust my rage." Like, fuck yeah, I love that line. Anyways, uh, I love Thor: The Dark World. Man, people hated Thor: The Dark World, but I like Thor: The Dark World. Honestly, I have this like, eh, I love Thor: The Dark World. Anyways, that's about it, guys. Yes, guys, that's about it. That's about it. Prepping for Thor. What am I supposed to watch in the course of Thor? What am I supposed to looking for when like things like that? Because it's just like back then I could like really understand and criticize an entire freaking movie and understand why it freaking failed, why it's a 7, why it's an 8, why it's a 9. But these days I kind of struggled when it comes to Thor. Iron Man 2, Iron Man 2, I was like solid 8. Like I was like going for 8, but I understand now when it comes to like 8s, it takes much more. Yeah. Like one, it has to be like some sort of like almost perfect kind of thingy. Like something around 8 and then up, 8.5, 8.6. Like something at an 8.6. You barely see 8.2, okay? You don't see 8.2. You see 7.2, 7.7. You don't see 8.2. You eventually go, when it comes to 8, it's out at 85, 86, 84, 82. It's hard to find 82. 82, yeah, we do see 82s. Yeah, we do see 82s. Stranger Things is an 82. Overall, it's like an 82, right? It's an 8.2 when it comes to uh, 8.2. I don't know why. And I'm hyped up Stranger Things for me to watch Stranger Things, and uh I'm bored. Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of bored. Is anything else coming from me to be able to let go? Yeah, things like this. Okay, something like this. Yeah, and thinking that the destroyer is like the main freaking thing about it. No, what tortoise? And okay, gonna watch Thor and gonna watch one episode of the Stranger Thing. Yeah, I gotta watch episode 3. Uh, And hopefully, finally, it drags me out of the freaking grunt of like boredom when it comes to that freaking movie. I, into, I kept sleeping over it. I got turned off by the CGI. Yeah, but I such a actually that okay. That's about it. An hour and 25. Checking out. Saying goodbye. Bye bye. Bye bye now. Bye bye. And I'm off. Bye.